everybody. How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Can you believe we're about to enter a brand new decade?
No.
I cannot either. So I have some fun things for you on the table. I hope this is a fun opportunity for you. My name is Chelle Johnson. I am a trainer with Mindgym. At Mindgym, we do things a little bit differently. We're very fast-paced, and it's kind of like a workout for your mind. We add science and psychology to help you think differently. And today, we are going to be focusing on your impact on others, looking at your motivational style and how you will get more out of relationships with those that you work, teammates, personal or professional. I love training on this topic because early in my career, you will definitely learn what kind of motivational style I am, and I'll share stories about that. But by learning about this and by my Myers-Briggs, how many of you have heard of Myers-Briggs? Okay. I was really able to learn more about how my own style was affecting my team, and how switching styles made me a better mom, made me a better leader, a wife, and just a better person overall because I was really able to flex that. And so in the next 20 minutes, I'd really love for you to get an idea of both the psychology and the science of it. And I would like to have you first start by taking one and passing it down, and then working with your partner next to you to think of someone, take a minute to think of someone who you would like to have a better impact on. And then, what would the benefits of having a different relationship with that person or better impact be? So if you could just use a minute to think about who that is, write it down, and then we're gonna talk amongst each other about that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Does it have to be one person or can it be two people?
It can be two people or a team.
Okay, because they're kind of a team.
Great.
Okay.
Use that noise.
Just those two things right now?
Sure. The
Or
person,
two
and no, not the
Okay.
rest of it, just those two things for
Okay.
now. Yep, Hope, are you good?
I think so.
Awesome.
I came up with 3 benefits. Should I have more than 3?
3 is good. We're gonna talk about several
Okay.
in just a second.
So I can add to it as we go?
You can.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, looks like everybody is finishing up. With having a better relationship with someone, what are the benefits of being able to do that? Michelle, what did you come up with?
More cooperation.
Awesome. Who else would agree with that?
For sure.
Definitely. Okay, Elizabeth, how about you?
Just an improved connection, a stronger connection.
That deep, authentic connection of instead of having a rival, especially when you're stressed, your motivational style can change. But by really understanding that, much lower deep connection. Good. Dree, how about you?
I said she could grow more, and I think I would grow more also.
Awesome. I love your answers. Thank you. And Hope?
More compassion. I think if I could see that person's view a little bit better, I would have more compassion for them.
And we'll talk about those different styles and how that compassion can definitely come up, especially if you're a complete opposite. And I know all of us have worked with people that are complete opposites, and I have many stories that I could share about that. So some of the other benefits are obviously growing our confidence and improve relationships, like you guys were talking about. Having that authentic, true self is the kind of relationship that you want to have, a more transparent communication, a more dynamic team. Think about, we are now in the United States working with 5 different generations, and if we can understand our own style and culture and flex to that, how much more productivity we would have and better relationships. So these are just a little bit of the benefits of managing that. I want to tell you a little bit about the science of relationship awareness theory. So Dr. Elias Porter studied relationship awareness theory, and he came up with behavior is driven by your motivation to achieve your self-worth. It's really about how are you functioning and motivating people so that you can have no fear and be your authentic self by having that self-worth. Motivation definitely changes with conflict. I know when I'm stressed that my motivation, I can become more of my style, definitely, which we'll talk about. And strengths, if they are misapplied or used too much, may be perceived as weaknesses. And then your personal filters, whether it's age or gender or culture influences people's behavior. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome, thank you. I'd like you to now, on the rest of your questionnaire, give you a few minutes to come up with your own style and what it might be. Number one, for example, each question you will come up with 10 points. So if I really like it when things are done correctly, if that is absolutely you and that's the strongest part, you might assign that an 8, where the other 2 might be 1s. Or if you're pretty neutral, that might be a 3, the others might be a 4 and a 3. So take the next 3 minutes to go through all of those questions, assign numbers to them that equal 10 per question, and then at the end, go ahead and total them up. All right, any questions on this piece right now? All right, go ahead and do that, please. Again, make sure they equal 10.
You didn't tell us there was math
I was
involved.
There is
Told
math
her.
involved, I know. It's a gym workout for your mind, ladies.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
I
You
did.
did say that. Okay, all right, my bad.
Yep, I sure did. Another minute. Use the noise.
I gotta give us a number that there's no way they could all be the same.
I know, it's.
Another 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm gonna ignore that.
Should be close to being done. And if you are finished, make sure that you go through all of the columns and add them up. looks like you guys are finishing up, that's great. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Seconds. 10.
Pressure.
No, well, I said we're fast paced.
I guess so.
Yay, it added up to 100.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I was just making sure.
I should probably double check that. Good point.
Okay, it looks like most of you have finished, so thank you. I know that when you're under pressure, time, it's either better, if that's your style, and you're better under pressure and stress, or it stresses you out. Hopefully it didn't stress you out too much. We're gonna come back to this in just a moment, but looking at our personality, Hippocrates actually, not hypocrisy, excuse me, there's none of that allowed in here. Hippocrates actually, during the ancient Greek time, came up with his theory of the four humors, which is if he could figure out what humor you were, you could know more about your personality. And since then, there have been several scientists and psychologists that have used his work to come up with more motivational style. And in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, Dr. Carl Jung, have you heard of him? He came up with the foundation of MBTI, or Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which it all sounds like that you have used. So Hippocrates' work plus the MBTI foundation equals the four motivational styles that Mindgym uses that we are now going to talk about. So they came up with, the first style is carer. A person who is modest or really bases their self-worth on caring and nurturing for other people. They're very effective networkers. They might be seen as being very supportive, very nurturing, very caring, very honest. So what careers would you believe a carer would work in?
Probably nursing.
Nursing, okay. Medical.
Maybe a teacher,
A teacher,
especially like elementary teacher.
okay, perfect. Any other thoughts?
Those are the two I were gonna say.
Okay.
I'm sure there's others, but
Yeah, okay, perfect. The next type, motivational style, is a driver. This is a person who is a risk taker, adventurous, likes to get things done fast. They get to the point, and it might be like, be brief, be gone, be done. They're very spontaneous. Sometimes they're demanding, competitive. And so what kind of person would you see being a driver? In what kind of career?
Finance.
Sales, finance.
entrepreneur.
All kinds of industries, but like a manager, a boss.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. The next style is professional, doing something well, and then if a job is worth doing, it's worth doing well. This is someone who is very detail oriented, someone who can be thorough, meticulous, reserved potentially. And what kind of people do we see in professional type of careers or that have that style?
Research.
Scientists, yes.
Researcher, scientist, perfect.
Graphic
CPAs.
designer fits that perfectly, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I see like accountants, CPAs.
Yeah. People in finance,
Auditors.
appraisers, auditors,
Tax people.
exactly.
Yep.
All right. And then we
Home
have our
appraisers.
tax, well, thank God for tax people, because
Right.
that's gonna be coming up tomorrow, is January 1st, and we're gonna get our W-2s pretty soon. So, and then the adapter. This is a person that has a combination of the other styles. They see the merits in focusing on people, quality, getting things done. They're able to be flexible and really use their intuition and their intrinsic motivation to kind of assess a room and be quite flexible. So now we're gonna learn what style you are. Does this all make sense? Any questions on this? But let's check out what ours are. So you're gonna write PCD across the top three, And if your highest score in the first over a 40 is P, then you're a professional. If you have 40 or above over the C, you are a carer. If you have 40 over above over the D, you are a driver. And if you, do you have one below the score of 23? If no, you are an adapter. If yes, you're a blend. And for me, I am a driver, usually, because I'm very goal oriented. But working in healthcare for as many years as I did as a talent acquisition manager for Banner Health, I was hiring phlebotomists and pharmacists and nurses, and I really had to adapt my style. And for those 8 years, I found, I actually got feedback my first year where I was too much of a driver. And I had to really switch that style up, and it was the best advice I ever got, because the 8 years I was there, I built really great, deep, authentic connections and relationships with the nurses. And it changed my Myers-Briggs, which originally was an ESTJ. I'm more of a thinker before a feeler, but the last time I took it, which was about a year ago, I'm an EST/F. So I actually moved over to being more of a thinker-feeler, which actually really helped me at home also, because driving too much could probably drive my husband and my kids crazy. So, Michelle, what style did you come up with?
I'm an adapter.
Can you give us an example of when you...
You know what, I have been working in sales operations for most of my career, which means dealing with salespeople who are generally drivers. But also dealing with marketing people and working with HR people, and so you kind of just learn how to adapt and figure out the best sort of style that works, and how to, I'm a harmonizer, I'm a middle child, I'm a diplomat, I don't like, so I have a little bit of all of the things, so it makes total sense to me.
Awesome. Do we have any drivers in here like me? No, do we have any carers?
I'm a carer.
Tell us about how your style, when you're working with a driver, how might that work?
I get along really well with drivers. My boss is definitely a driver, and I understand his style, so I just listen to what he wants and get it done. But I go to other people for that caring interaction.
Awesome. When I was working in healthcare, they were almost all carers, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna go nuts, because I needed more of that driver. But my boss, who was the CFO, he would definitely help me with the professional piece. And really, it's all about how do we adapt our styles and how do we learn from that. And so by knowing your own, it allows you to kind of think about who your audience is, and then back to our goal of getting more out of our relationships. And so if you are a blend, actually, I'm an advocate now. I want to help others help themselves. So as a career coach, I definitely work with a lot of different styles and multi-generations and age and cultures in 2 languages. And when I have the most connection with them is when I can be my sincerest and get them to understand I care about what they're doing. And so our hope is that we've stretched your mind a little bit, and that you've learned about your style. And do you think that, what if we had a team of all adapters? What would that look like?
Probably not very productive.
Okay, why?
Because somebody needs to be in charge.
Okay, Elizabeth, what is your style?
I was a carer as well.
Perfect.
And that just comes from always wanting to help people, and I'm not very forthwilling and everything, but it's always, okay, how can we help everyone as a whole? And if I'm not helping people, then I'm not fulfilled.
Got it. If I'm not kind of getting results, that is my first motivational style, but I definitely love working with carers and professionals. So our hope in Mindgym is that you've taken this, learned a little bit about the science, learned a little bit about the psychology of it, and I'd like you to all put on your 20/20 glasses, and let's do a toast to seeing I hope that you can see clearly now what your style will be and have fun in the new decade.